we'll go from there. That's it. Let's see. Crypto King says it's a zero-sum game, especially altcoins. It's a good point. Nobody wants to say that, you know? Nobody wants to say that. Nobody wants to tell you, like, you know, hey, like Polkadot sponsored me for whatever reason. Like, yeah, that's just how it is. Like in my description, everything that you guys click on is an affiliate link. I even put a little asterisk and it said, this is an affiliate link. But yeah, it's a zero-sum game. And, you know, at some point you're going to sell, and that's just how it is. It's the same thing with stocks. Okay. Let's see. Jockey of Crypto says, Rob, showing on a peso. This is just a green screen. This goes with me wherever I'm at. I could be in Norway today. I could be in Spain. I could be in Puerto Rico, where I live. Or I could be traveling. That's why I like this green screen. It's beautiful. Beautiful, right? Yeah. Accelerate Profits says, World Mobile for the win. I gotta tell you, there was a great piece. If you don't follow ADA follow ADA. And I'm gonna show you something about World Mobile Token. Let me see if I can find this one. I should have retweeted this, damn it, but I didn't. First of all, a guy over at Coin Bureau on Coin Bureau Club, he did an in-depth analysis of it. And he stated, that it's like one of their best reviewed altcoins, or one of the best. And then we did NFA Live yesterday. It was me, Ben from the CRYPTOVERSE, and Jessica from Coin Bureau. And her top 3 picks, one of those is World Mobile Token. And I tend to agree. And also, as I'm saying this, you must know that if I talk about it, it means I own it. So I'm super biased, right? There's nothing, I can't say this enough. I'm biased. It's true. But this was a good one from ADA, and I didn't realize this. But it makes sense to me, and I should really retweet this. I'll do this in a bit. And he says, this couldn't be more obvious. I've never seen such an asymmetrical play. And it takes a look at the daily active users, and of course, Ton is one of my top picks, right? The value in the market cap, 17,719,548,309, which means a value per user, and you break it down, 45,331. You take Optimism, Aptos, and Jito, and World Mobile for the daily active users. And you divide that by the market cap, and you can see the value per user is amazingly low. World Mobile, crazy, right? Crazy. But it's something to think about. And then you might say to yourself, what the hell is World Mobile Token? Well, I did a video. If you do search for digital asset news and World Mobile Token, or just World Mobile Token, you'll see a bunch of videos on it, why it's going to be big. It's essentially a D-pin play. And I'm also an Earth node operator. So I think it's going to do well. I've set myself up. I've been talking to Mickey for like over 2 years now. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And then that one from Guy, let me see if I can find it. I don't want to put words in his mouth. And I sure do tweet a lot. Ah, sweet Mary Jo. Oh yeah, one more thing. I'd like everybody to have this burned into your brain. When people say don't take profits in diamond hands, I want you to remember this. Remember this image. Don't take profits. Well, Toys R Us, Blockbuster, Radio Shack, big differ. And of course, people would say, well, I heard Toys R Us is coming back. Yeah, after a 4-year hiatus from being in bankruptcy. Yeah, nothing, not everything makes it. Let's see here. Aha, gotcha. So this was the quote from the video itself. Guy says, and this is just not Guy, of course, it's his whole team behind Coin Bureau. And he states in the video, there's 10x more adoption than its competitors with a 10x smaller market cap. The risk reward is one of the best we've come across in our altcoin reviews. That's exactly what he said. And Guy himself does not own that. He says he may allocate to it, but Jessica does, and so do I. Anyhow, maybe something to look at. Just saying. Patriots. So Bitcoin will die. Bitcoin's not going nowhere. Bitcoin's not going nowhere. And I gotta tell you, if we really get into it, and there's any kind of thing where like President Biden or President candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or Donald Trump, if they start to really implement Bitcoin into the U.S. strategy for domination, I think it could do very well. That would be crazy. Glenn Fisher, best guess in the length of this dip. Prediction, it'll be between 24 hours and 6 months. Somewhere in between there will be this pullback. Not for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know, but there's always a plan. The plan is, well, I mean, you just kind of sit back and go, maybe today I do nothing. You know, we can do nothing. Remember that. It's not like we have to take action, like we have to buy every dip and we have to sell at what we think is the all-time high. Maybe just sit back and do nothing today. Enjoy the day. If you're in America, most of you are off today. Congratulations. Neo Beja, I'm one of those diamond hands. I just hold, I'll never take profits. More than 100K worth of unrealized profits disappear, but oh well. Yeah. You'll probably be rewarded later on. But it's when you really got to take those profits that it's good when it's there, right? And I'd rather take profits when it's there and I need it, especially if like, you know, we bought a new property, so we needed pretty large cash because it was a cash only offer. And it was good to take profits back in March and April, like I tweeted about. Because now if I had to take profits, I'm like, damn it, if I had to take profits now, because I'm still in profits in a lot of places. If I had to take profits now, it kind of suck. But again, might go lower, who knows. Robbie, you're looking very, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Had a couple good nights. So yeah, went to Morton's Steakhouse last night over here. And man, that place is pricey. The steak is fantastic. There's better places in Texas, but just saying. It was a good night with friends. Had some vino tinto. It was great. This morning went for a walk by the beach. Not too bad. Yeah. Payne says, Rob, I agree taking profits are important. Folks also need to factor in that we'll have to take taxes too. Yeah. Go through, if you're ever wondering about that, there's a great website. It's called Coin Ledger. And did you know that in Coin Ledger, this is what I use for all my taxes, but there's also a portfolio tracker that's free. And it'll tell you what's your long-term capital gains, what's your short-term capital gains. And from that, you can ascertain what your taxes will be. So yeah, everybody's like talking about taxes, but here's as a reminder. You know, not everybody has to pay 20% or 33% or 44%. It's all different based on your particular income and your particular country that you live in. So I don't usually talk too much about taxes because it gets too complex. But as long as you understand what your tax implications are, sure. Like here, like in America, if you wait for a year or longer, we're paying long-term cap gains, which is like 20, 21%. If you do the same thing in Germany, you're paying 0%. So yeah, it's one of those things. Des is here. Philip says, hey Rob, cold storage doesn't support most coins. What's the best place to hold that point? Send to MetaMask. I feel like I have to hold on exchanges. Yeah, like I hold a MetaMask for something, but usually like these things really, for the cold storage devices, usually they're really catching up. Also, I'd like to say one thing. About damn it. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. I don't know if you know this, but first of all, I talked to Tangem, and Tangem is the cold storage device I use. It's just a card. And there's a link in the description for the video when we talk all about it. And if you want to buy it, it's like a 5% discount, but it's an affiliate link. So if you don't like affiliate links, you don't have to use it. You can just go right to Tangem and buy, but you don't get 5%. So two things. I talked to Tangem, and they're going to have native staking this month, from what they tell me, which is great. They already have staking, but it's through Wallet Connect. I don't like that. I don't like a third party to be integrated in between what I'm staking. But in July, they're going to have native staking, meaning you can stake right from your cold storage device. No crappy third-party integration, very safe and secure, fantastic. Then I can start staking all that Solana and all the stuff that I have, right? But this just came out today. I thought this was pretty interesting. Tangem introduces Visa integrated crypto wallet for secure payments. So they actually partnered up with Visa for payments. Tangem Pay will be available for any self-custodial wallet. Visa's head of crypto, Kai Sheffield, emphasized that the company's collaboration with Tangem is crucial for the future of payments. He states, with our partnership, Tangem aimed at driving the creation of next-gen payment solution. We're excited to work with Tangem to help people out. That's pretty good. So yeah, as far as like, and then to get into Tangem, most of the things that you're going to need, a lot of those are on Tangem. They really are. But if I don't have it on Tangem, I just keep it in MetaMask and I try to minimize my exposure. There's a reason why I still have over 70% of my allocation is to Bitcoin. It's because I can keep it in Tangem and it's the most safe. And if you don't, and I think that for the most part, if we keep dipping, which I think we will, that means that Bitcoin will dip, but altcoins will really get crushed. Not all of them, but the majority. There's nothing wrong with that. Dan says, what methods do you convert profits to USD if in the USA? There's a couple ways to do it. First of all, I would love it if I can take a loan against my Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I've learned my lesson with Celsius that that's a far way away. And I know there's other people will say, well, this company's coming out and this company's doing it. Don't care, because I will let all the new people try it and I will sit back and just wait for the final assertion as to if that actually works. If that works after a couple of years, I'll give it a shot. Until then, if I need to take profits, I only use Coinbase right now. Kraken if I really need to use something, but I'm in America, so I have very limited amounts of my on and off ramps. And the majority of that would be Coinbase. Now I can use Tangem if I really want to, but they use crappy MoonPay, and MoonPay has like the most exorbitant fees that I've seen. I despise them, so I will not use them. Having said that, if I'm going to offload and I need to convert, I've got to pay the fee over at Coinbase, which there's a reason why they're doing so damn well, because the fees are crazy. I will put that into cash, or I'll put into stable coins. And with stable coins, you can actually take the stable coins off and you can put them into Tangem if you so choose to, right? Which is pretty nice. Or you can put them into your bank by just cash. I never leave cash or stable coins on a centralized exchange. Learned my lesson with Voyager, and that's how I take profits there. Now, Dan, if you're in some other country, I don't think you are. Looks like you might be in Dan and maybe New Mexico. Then I just use Coinbase. Do that. And also, if you're looking to reduce your fees, instead of using Coinbase regular, you can use Coinbase Pro. And if you through the app, there's a link. But if you just do Coinbase Pro and how that works, it'll show you how to do it. All right. Jockey Crypto says, Rob, do you think that if you have a certain amount you shouldn't put on cold storage? The alternative would be what? To keep it in a centralized exchange or hot wallet? I don't know. I don't think so. But I will say that there is a certain amount of a low amount. Let's say you bought $10 worth of Ethereum, right? And then you're like, oh, well, I hear I'm not supposed to leave it on an exchange. And you move your Ethereum, when everybody's moving Ethereum, over to your cold storage device, and it costs you $5 or $7 or sometimes $20. And you're like, wow, I have $10 and the fee is 50% to move it. There's no reason to move it. So it's like, yeah, I would just keep it there until, for one of two things, when you have an adequate amount that you want to move over, or if the fees actually go down. Just saying. Yeah, say under 5. Oh, say under 5K. No. I mean, I still move it. I personally move it, but like, let's say that you're Jeff Bezos and you're like, okay, I got 5,000 in Coinbase. That is my tip money. I don't need that, right? Let's say your name is Candace and you are a single mom with 3 kids and working 2 jobs to make ends meet, and you have 5,000. You probably want to move that off the centralized exchange. Just saying. So everybody's different. It depends on you. I prefer Kraken over Coinbase. That sounds good. Crypto.com works well for you. Yes, it also does. I just don't use them. Cold over hot, if you can, exactly. Look, all right, a loan against your Bitcoin, that's a bit risky. That's super risky. But it's amazing how, like, we just talked about this in 2022 of the collapse of Celsius, and now everybody's big onto this whole thing, like, oh, just take a loan against this new company that just popped up overnight. I'm like, am I living in fantasy land? But okay, have fun. Rob, can you use your Visa? Can you use Visa on Tangem with stables or just project coins? I don't know how the Visa thing works out. I know that you can put your stables on Tangem. I do it all the time on different chains. I have it on ERC20. I have it on Tron. I have it on Solana and whatever else. And that's USDT. That's Tether and USDC. Let's see. Ben Sachs is right on track to get a Voyager check and buy the dip. Well, let's hope so. I'd like to receive some of that money back. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, Crypto King says, single mom with 3 kids, 2 jobs. Damn. I always use that example because that's my mom when I was growing up. Yeah. Rampage says, are we being wrecked intentionally? This isn't adding up. Nah, I mean, perhaps, but I mean, like, look, if you're a Mt. Gox guy or gal, and you put a big chunk of Bitcoin in 2014 or 2014, or you accumulated in 2013 and 2014, you know, and you're like, wow, it's like a 60 to 500x. Why wouldn't you sell some? I think it'd be ridiculous. But a lot of people say, well, those people back then, they really believed in it. Things change. I'm just saying, someone's going to sell. And the question is, how much of that sell pressure can we absorb? I don't know. All this stuff is small potatoes compared to the Elon Musk crash and FTX collapse. Yeah, the FTX collapse, that was pretty bad. Let's be honest. But I think there's just as things move forward, there's always more negative to go. And it's a funny thing because as we get into this stage, people will start to feel more bearish and more like when you're in the bearish market, let's be honest, we're in a bear market. Right now we're in a bear market. If we're taking a look, and people will say, no, it's not true. Let's take a look at the definition of a bear market. Let's see. So when prices, and this is from Investopedia, when prices in a market decline by more than 20%, often accompanied by negative investor sentiment and a weakening economy, you're in a bear market. Some people will debate if it's a weakening economy, but you can't say that the sentiment, which I just saw, we were at fear not too long ago. I think we're teetering on extreme fear. And as far as like a market decline by more than 20%, we're there. So people say, no, it's a bull market. It's not the definition, but I'm just saying. So when we're in these markets, it always feels like, and when you're in a bear, it feels like it can only get more bearish. And we're in a bull, it can only get more bullish. And usually that's wrong. So Tim says, I'm in a bull market. In my mind, I'm in a bull market. That's good. Oh, I want to play Mario Brothers. Sounds like a good plan. Yeah. Des says, damn it, Rob. I was looking forward to a break here with you in the bull market. Looks like we're still here for a while. Everybody would do it. Oops. Sorry, maybe the Wi-Fi might blip out here and there. Macro bull, mini bear, sure. Shortest bull market ever. I will remind you guys. Let me take a look at this. Remember this? Let's go. Right here. Remember this bull market? Phew. Never was excited. Man, we went from 10,000 to 62. Actually, that's pretty. Let's take April 2020. All the way over here. Man, less than a year. It's pretty good. And we're like, this is the greatest bull market ever. And then what happens? 63 to what? 31, 30, 29. Do you guys remember this? I guarantee the sentiment was bearish at this point when you lost from April to like 2.5 months. It dropped by 50% or over 50%. And everyone's like, well, that sucks. I guess the bull market's over. And what happened? Back to 67, suckers. So, yeah. Some people say, that's it. You know, this cycle, we're done. I don't think we're done. And there's more to the upside, but who knows? Solana's the easy play, sure. Dino says, being at fear level with Bitcoin at 55. I wonder if, let's see if we can steal some of Ben's info. All right. Let's see. Where are we? We're just at fear. Let's blow this up. We're at 29. When do we get to extreme fear? I guess in 20. Yeah, 25. So right now we're in fear, I guess. As we keep dropping, it'll go to extreme fear, and that's just how it is. Let's see. Rex says ETFs messed everything up. Yeah, as far as the cycle goes, yeah. But these are the things. And Brian says 42K is the answer to everything. It could be. Jolly. Magnificent mustache in that picture. Jolly says, no, the first time around for me. Congratulations. The first timers when everything's fresh and new. These are the best. Well, you got your badge today. And then, of course, if you're still here, you did a great job. A lot of people are already gone. So I commend you, Jolly. Let's see. Matt says, I know that the fear of Germany and Mt. Gox is causing a lot of fear. I know you don't make price predictions, but how much further do you think will fall? I can tell you how much I think we fall. I hope we go down somewhere in the 40s. I know people, like some people are groaning. But if you look at it week to week, that's a pretty crappy way to look at it. But if you look at it month or end of year to next year, okay. Look, I don't know who I told this to, but I was talking to my group this morning. And I said, remember that, I know like we think this is awful, but I remember in March of 2020, when we started to hear, actually in February 2020, when we started to hear the rumblings of the cerveza sickness, something happening in China, right? Which we all thought was another avian bird flu. Like, whatever, won't reach over here. Then, of course, it got released in the lab. Sorry, that's true. And it went to become a pandemic. Whether that be real or not, I don't know. But you can't dispute that it caused the markets to crash. So in that situation, like everybody was freaking out, right? Everybody. And we dropped so hard. And everyone's like, okay, well, nobody's going to get back into Bitcoin because no one's going to get into this risk-on asset. People have to buy, food, they have to buy shelter, they have to buy shotguns and guns, which you should do anyhow, because it's going to be a wasteland. Also, you have to buy a bunch of toilet paper because you're going to have massive diarrhea from this bird flu or cerveza sickness. And no one's going to buy Bitcoin because they got to buy all that toilet paper, whatever. And then, like within a couple of weeks, it was like, maybe not. Then like a couple of months, everything just like repaired itself, and all of a sudden we started printing money and everything was good. So like in this situation, I think we're going to see more problems or more pullbacks because of what's going on. I could be wrong, but I hope it does. But in the long run, again, the long run, I don't think it's a big deal. And that's a reason why, like, I'm always harping on these rules, which I know people get sick of, but what's the first rule and the last rule? And I made this for a specific reason. I put them first and last. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. That's the number one rule. So if right now, if people are freaking out, you invest more than you can afford to lose. I'm sorry you did that, but you shouldn't have done that. And the last one is take profits, because nobody ever went broke taking profits. I know I get made fun of a lot, especially when I talk about it, like when we're like all-time highs, but I'm like, people are probably going to sell. So that's it. Just kind of get from there. That's all. All right. I will not tell Ben a problem. Kenny's got a good, I don't think the bull run will begin until last quarter. I can see that for sure. I don't think the real bull run lasts or starts until we get a little bit more assurance about who the president's going to be. The markets do not like uncertainty, and I don't think they care if it's RFK Jr. or if it's Biden or if it's Trump. As long as they know who it is, they're like, okay, well, we know what the policy is going to be with this guy. We know the policy is going to be this guy or this guy. Now we know, let's move forward. I think that's the bigger issue, just to get out of the uncertainty. And that only happens until the last quarter of the year in Super Tuesday. And of course, the president takes office in January, but sure. I can see Rob longer. There's a time. That's true. I'll be here until the next big bull run. Ooh, Darko. So unemployment 4.1%, cut rate soon. Could happen. Could happen. But the question was, Darko, what was the expectations for unemployment? I forgot. And TM says, once you've experienced the cycle, the fear factor drops significantly, so the price flying all over the place. Yeah, like we were doing a meetup over at the Smokehouse on Wednesday. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Diego, and he got in 2021 when everything was going crazy. He was very, very exuberant, young guy, and this is going to be it. It's never going to, it's going to keep going up. And of course, he got wrecked like we all get wrecked, right? And now we're sitting around a table just talking and drinking. And he's like, he goes, I don't care what happens at this point. He's like, if it does this, I do this. If it does this, I do this. Let's see what happens in 2025. And I was like, yes, that's exactly it. It's like a metamorphosis, right? From like a grub worm to a butterfly. It's amazing. I'm like, that's exactly how most people do this. They go through this trash and they go to the other side and like, yeah. Panda says, Rob, for everybody for who it's in the first cycle, would you not say everything as it should be? We were expecting for a pullback anyway. 55K is not bad. 30K, we're here for the long run. It's a little different because of and someone said this before, it's different because of the ETF. It accelerated everything. And we had talked about this back in February. How if we take a look from, the halving, from the all-time high to the halving, we were just so far ahead of where we were supposed to be. And even now, if you look at 55K or 50K, if you look at the last cycle, just do that. So let me explain this. If you look at the last cycle from 2020, which again, 2020 was the last halving, right? Actually, 2024 was the last halving. The one before that was 2020, May 11th or May 12th, 2020, right? And the all-time high in the previous cycle was 20,000. So in May, we were 50%, Jesus, we were 50% of our all-time high, roughly. Even, let's say 60% of our all-time high. When we hit in April, for our halving for this cycle, we were already past the previous all-time high. So like we're way ahead of schedule. 55,000 shouldn't be here. Look, this is May. So from April 2024, May, June, July, right? Let's take 3 months. So let's take May, June, July. Let's take a look in August. 11, that's still like 40% down from its all-time high. from us, we're like 73 to 55. We're still like right where we should be. Actually, we're ahead of that. So I think we're actually farther ahead. It just seems so bad because we went up so fast. That's it. Yeah. Raul Paul said we're going to a banana zone. I guess. That guy's, if you need some hopium, Raul Paul's your guy. And he's had some right predictions. No one gets it 100%, right? It's the banana pointing downward. That's good. Matt says, but coming in October 21, I came to the top. Yeah, you did. That sounds just like me. I came in November 2017. The top was the next month. You came in October 2021. The top was the next month. I watch everything drop down to 99% down. These are sales, fire sales. Yeah. Imagine if you would have bought back then. Ooh. Watch this. Let's play a little game. There's a website called CoinMarketCap Historical. Let's say that you would have bought in 2022. Like what Matt is talking about. And the low was roughly, because it was 2021 was the high, and then a year later, there was the low. Here's the prices back then. Let's take November 20th. So Bitcoin was 16,000, Ethereum was 1,000. BNB was 264. I don't know what it is now. Oh my God. XRP was roughly the same price. That's pretty sad. Cardano was 30 cents, also almost roughly the same price. 7 cents for Doge, 80 cents for Polygon. Polkadot, 529. What is the price today? I don't even know I don't even pay attention anymore. BNB is 47. BNB was half price. You would, at this dip, you'd still be doing great. That's why like when you see people are not really that concerned, that's because they've been buying throughout these bear markets. XRP is 41 cents today. Historically, it was 36 cents. That is sad. Well, whatever. Polkadot was 529. What is it over here? Oh, look at that. Nice fire. Only cost them $500,000. 554. Yikes. Yeah, he'd be even Steven. Let's see. Shiba Inu. I don't want to get in that. Tron was a nickel. What is Tron now? It's way down here, I'll tell you that. Did I miss it? Oh, number 12, sorry. 12 cents. Oh, you'd be up. Look at that. See, I should stop making fun of Tron. Solana was 12 bucks. Wow. Solana today, 130 bucks. So yeah, pretty crazy, right? That's the power of investing when there is a brutal bear market and nobody wants to buy. What does that sound like? Sounds like today. Anyhow. Why isn't Bitcoin Cash in that list? I don't know. Let's see. I have no problem with Bitcoin Cash. My guy Digital Dave loves it. Let's see. So Bitcoin Cash was $104 back then. Today it is $314. There you go. Still be up. We need Jim Cramer to say CNBC said Bitcoin is capped and finished. Exactly. Yeah. When you look at other streamers and they are giving crypto TA from a room in the ghetto, you have to ask yourself, if they are doing this great, why are they in the slums? Remember, first of all, this is just a green screen. I could be in the slums myself. And it's not the place that you're at. and it's not the car that you drive or the things that you own. It's how I known many people, especially in Puerto Rico, they don't seem to really flaunt their wealth. I mean, the reasonable people, not the goofballs that are, say Lambos and moonshots, but just the normal folk who have like a lot of money. They don't really flaunt it too much. I think that's the one where you're like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. Like me, I do fine. I own the Lambo of minivans, Dodge Grand Caravan. Beautiful. Great gas mileage, very comfortable, lots of space. I'm also old, that's why. Let's see. Ah, yes, Rob, the great toilet paper frenzy of 2020. Yep, exactly. Matt says, Rob, which has more upside, Solana or Ton? Feet to the fire. I buy both, and I buy both. And they're going to both do great. Solana's, watch that deep dive from yesterday. Wasn't very popular. People don't want to see it, but I got to tell you, take a look at that video. There are some downfalls to Ton. One of those being regulation, not adoption. They're crushing that part, and not speed and not tech. They're doing just great. But there's some problems. But no, I just buy both. I can't say one or the other because it's not what I'd ever do. No, I'm 11, 2020. All right. Exactly. Ayesh says, shall we DC it now or wait for further drop? I bought today, but you might look at this and go, no, it's still going to go down further. I don't know. I gotta tell you, like, every time that I think like it's going to keep going down, I know it, and then it never goes down again. And then, like, shoot, I should have done it. And every time I'm like, nah, I'll probably just DCA, and then it starts going up. So, I mean, you really can't really lose too much if you dollar cost average is like a superpower. Then, of course, follow the rules. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Don't use leverage. Everything is scam until proven otherwise. Don't leave things in exchanges and take profits along the way. Dutch says, you only lose if you exit. Is that true? It's true to a point, but you can talk to the people who got into BitConnect. Talk to the people who bought a ton of different meme coins. Talk to Rob, who invested into the VGX token, Voyager. You will lose because some will go to zero. So you got to understand that. But the question you have to ask yourself, and that's why I have so much, and people always ask me, like, why do you put so much into Bitcoin? Because even if it doubles, if it goes 120,000, that's only a double. It's a risk to reward ratio. I'm fine just like that. So like with the other stuff that I'm looking at my altcoins, and my 99% of these are going to go to zero. They can't all make it. There's no need for them. So I will lose. I will lose on some points for the altcoins. Because even when I sell 80%, I'll still lose 20% because some will go to zero. And I'm okay with that, as long as the other part makes up. Huh. Matt says, oh, you missed the first part of the comment, about 9%. I came in, did back in 2021, but I didn't buy Bitcoin till it dropped to 45. I thought it was too high. Now it's pulled back to 9%. I mean, 45 is still up, right? But I hear you. I hear you. Zencoin is taking off. Well, that's great. Rod, can you check the Bitcoin risk chart? We're in between the 0.5 to 0.6 time and risk bands. Yeah, Chainlink is doing horrible, and it's actually partnering up with all these banks and doing real-world assets and cross-border payments. It's crazy. But that's just how it is, right? Maybe it was overpriced. Hilarious. Justin's son has a cult China following. Yeah, and he did make an offer to the German government. He said, look, if you want, I'll buy all your Bitcoin from you so it doesn't affect the markets, which is pretty slick. Raman said, Peter Schiff is happy right now. Peter Schiff is ecstatic right now because he's the one who said, I told you it was going to happen. You know what? Peter Schiff he's right on this instance, but he's so annoying. It's like the people who they tell you for, 10 years, there's going to be a recession. There's going to be a recession. There's going to be a recession. You're like, okay, do you know when? No, it's going to be here. 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 10 years later. See, I told you. Sure. Yeah. Wildfire. Why are you bouncing so much? Small earthquakes here. Germany holds 41,000 Bitcoin. There's that's why I asked this. Coordinated. Why do nations sell Bitcoin? Don't know. I think it's a bad mistake on their part. And the MP actually called him out, or the PM. Said, why are you doing this? If America comes over and says that they want to, put this into their strategy for reserve currency, why are you guys selling Bitcoin at such a discount? Rob, how about Caspa? I own Caspa. And congratulations to Marathon for mining Caspa as it came off with, I think it's their fungible tokens that just launched a couple weeks ago. Good for them. Rob, look into wallets from Ton. 90% is dangerous. No, it's not true. Crap. We talked about this yesterday. Let me pull some up. So with Ton, and I said this before too, and I got it, but I talked about, because when Guy had mentioned this in like December, I was like, I don't really think Ton's going to do well because it's so concentrated. But if you take a look at Into the Block, and we talked about this in the video yesterday on Ton, if we take a look at the most decentralized crypto that's out there, it would be Bitcoin, right? And whales, which own 1%, around that, that is only 1% of the entire circulating supply of Bitcoin, which is roughly $19.5 million, or 19.5 million tokens, excuse me. So for this one, if we take a look and say, well, whales is 1%, and some of those could be exchanges, keep in mind. Investors, again, also exchanges, but retail hold 88%. That's what you want to find. You want to find a nice balance, mostly skewed to retail. Now let's take a look at Ethereum. Everybody owns that, or most people do, not everybody. Look at retail, 49%, whales 41%, investors 10%. Now look at Dogecoin, retail 37%, whales 42%. Investors 21. Cardano, probably the second best in the top 20. Whales are 9, investors 20, and retail 71. And Toncoin on the bottom right-hand corner. Let's see if I can blow this up. Not really. It's split. Whales are 29, investors are 30, and retail is 41. And I thought it was 90% too, until I took a look at the data. And then I asked myself, where did I get this information? It was old information. And I know why they did it now. There was a great interview with Tucker Carlson and Pavel, the founder of Telegram. And he said, yeah, we got sued by the SEC. We had to step away from the actual token. Then the community took it over. That's why it's called Ton, the open network. And they ran with the token itself. So the whales were like, because it was a proof of work in the beginning. And you could actually mine it. And a lot of them did mine it. And they mined the hell. They had like 90-some% concentrated in those wallets. But over time, and what they did was smart. They didn't dump on everybody and like, short-term gains, see ya, suckers. They slowly released it. And that's why you didn't see the price collapse. That's why you see it now in number 9. And that's why you see how, like, again, from its all-time high, Toncoin is only down 16%. Out of the top 100, I think it's like the second best performing one that we have. So I get that a lot. I think it's probably partially because of me and my outdated understanding of what it was. But now I see it, and it looks pretty good. Does that mean it's perfect? No, it's got problems. Watch the video. But yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was. That's on me. I made that mistake. I was like a crypto therapist. That's a good point. Lord Smith says Chainlink doesn't follow cycles. I remember my first cycle when I went from yeah, 2021, excuse me, 2017, 2018, 2019, it was like the only thing that went up at this really random time in 2019 was Chainlink. I was like so happy. Like, wow, this is great. Justin Sun says he's always buy, but does he? I don't know. It's a good one. Sun is a scam artist. I think that's the second favorite term in crypto. One is when moon. The second one is scam. I don't know. Oh yeah, BitTorrent. It's true. I don't know what happened to that. Collapsed. What's the use case for it done? Good question. So, not to bore you, but go watch the video. It's just, so first of all, Toncoin is an app on Apple, right? Toncoin just rolled out their own apps. You can have apps within apps. You can use Toncoin within those apps. Also, the fact that it actually launched on Tether, USDT is actually placed within Ton now, and you can use that for payments. There is roughly 900 million, roughly a billion people that use Telegram. And now they have access to that crypto to make payments in USDT, which is pegged to the dollar. That is a huge amount of utility right there if you can make payments. Remember XRP? That was supposed to be the thing that's supposed to do. Never did it. And now here we are, and it has this app. Then you can use those apps. And just between us, I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually gamble inside the app using Toncoin, USDT, Notcoin, and everything else. You can buy upgrades within those apps. And those apps just aren't stupid games. You have like VPN service. You have, like Filecoin services that actually hold files and documents, kind of like the cloud. You have something like that. Dating services, look into that. And you also have games, organization services, calendar service, all these things that you have in the apps. And that's what Ton can do. So watch the video. And I don't want to get into it because people are going to start to fall asleep. All right. Watch Vegan Crypto, only one who's truthful. Yeah, I like truthful people. Sounds good. Hello from Romania. It's a good point. Here's my conspiracy theory. Germany is selling without going to the OTC markets. That is a fact. In my opinion, they do so because they want the price to plummet so their rich friends can get on the cheap. I could see that. Oh, this is the first question. I have my first. So I hit my head on these falling prices. Nah, it was one of these things where ran in trunk of the car, hit my head, got a big gash. So I don't want to show this open wound. So I put a little Band-Aid on. Let's see. Favorite crypto word is soon. Exactly. BTT billionaire, better than me and the rest of the EOS millionaires like Beardy. Yeah. Let's see. How would you have taken profits from the beginning of this year to now when Bitcoin went from 20K to 74K? It's not just taking profits on Bitcoin. It's all the different cryptos that I have. So, like as a reminder, and I know this is a very unpopular way to do things, and I don't blame it. It's kind of a pain in the A. But for me, for my portfolio, it looks something like this. And I need to update this. This is from January. But you can see it's a lot of Ethereum. But then you got Ethereum, Sol, Near, Cardano. Now you got Ton. AVAX, Link, Stanks, Arbitrum, Mutable, Injectable, Cosmos, Polygon, and like a ton of other ones. 67 plus. So like for profits, remember I've been buying since 2022. So in that situation, like a lot of these, and I'm still in profit on a lot of them. Because like I said, like we've done the hard work. So I take profits and then, hopefully it drops back down below my buying price and I can get back in. But if it doesn't, it's okay because I take those profits and I put in other assets. Those assets being more real estate. And those are appreciating assets. I don't take those profits and go, ooh, great, and go buy a Cybertruck or something crazy like that. I don't really have any use for that. So it's just asset rotation essentially, and where you see things. And for me, it's a risk reward type of deal. So yeah, that's it. Rob trying to catch a falling knife, someone's lost an eye. Yeah. And this is true. ITX says your favorite altcoins are on sale. If you look at it like that, that's true. It's a funny thing, like, right? We go into a store and we're like, wow, 50% off New Balance white shoes or whatever. You're like, 50%, that's crazy. I got to get that. Or you do, you don't. But then we look at it like in the stock market or in crypto, we're like 50% off. I'm not buying that trash. Same thing. Doom, it's over. Whenever says, Rob, what's your opinion? We're starting a bear market, a prolonged bear market? Possibly. I think we're in a bear market. We take a look at the definition, 20% drop, sentiment is low, and fear, and a weakening economy. That's debatable. But yeah, bearish, we'll say. But for a prolonged one, probably. I thought we were actually going to just kind of be flat for quite some time until, like, again, I don't think anything's happening. I don't think anything's happening until after this presidential election gets done with. And that's it. All right. I think that's it. We did it. Oof, an hour and 12 minutes. Let's get out of here. Everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Like today's video, thumbs up and subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, if you don't like the prices, don't look at your portfolio. Trust me. Come back in a while, prices will change. And again, I don't think this summer is going to be too exciting. I could be wrong. But if this is worrying you, again, try to follow the rules. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Everything is scam, whatever otherwise. Don't use leverage. Don't be on exchanges. Take profits along the way when you're in profit. Yes, you can also consider that as far as your taxes, but go from there. That's it for today, everybody. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. See you on the next one. Adios.